go. Second tee, fuck that, yeah. Let's go. Crete's here.
This weighs half my body weight.
We're gonna mess around with an idea and pour a transition with just using a flathead shovel as the trowel and a piece of wood to shape it. It was just an idea I had. I feel like everyone has a shovel at their house and can get a hold of a scrap 2x4 and make their ditch a lot better to ride. And I think it could work for a couple different things, probably like, you know, killing a curb or any kind of quick little thing where you just want a little bit of concrete. And we ride bikes, so it doesn't have to be that smooth. So right here, we're just throwing in some dirt as fill, just so we can use less concrete and just kind of match the existing transitions. You can see they have chipped off over time because we got water coming through here in the winter for 6 months, so it's tough to make stuff waterproof. All right, so here we got our R&D on our transition builds. This was actually the first one I did with the high strength concrete. It's very bumpy. I don't think I used wood to get the cream to come to the top, and then we have just like a Cementol rapid mortar right here to blend it, which I did recently. But if you come over here, this is what we've kind of been working with lately, where we got the high strength in the middle, and then we just blend it with mortar. Like I said, the correct way would be to cut in, but I'm not cutting in for 120 feet of concrete. And again, we ride bikes, it doesn't have to be perfect. So yeah, this is pretty much what we're gonna end up with type thing right here. We can try and blend it a little bit better. But yeah, we're throwing some dirt down right here, and then we'll just start mixing up some bags, and we'll just do that on the ground right here with the shovel, since we're using the shovel today.
Here we are grabbing water from this ecosystem. Again, not ideal. Sometimes these tadpoles get mixed into our concrete, but it's what we got and it works.
We're just gonna mix it on the ground here because it doesn't matter. But if you're doing it at like a street spot or something, you probably want to keep it clean and do it in like a tarp or a mixing bucket or something. You just cut it in half.
You want to mix two at a time?
Yeah, sure. Or there's that. You can normally do 4 bags per 5-gallon bucket is about what you can do. I found this ditch riding my dirt bike around this area, and I could just see it from the road. I saw this hip situation, and there was 2 pieces of like random concrete where the boob is now. We like rolled it off and turned it into like, you know, the boob roller thing it is today. And yeah, I just saw that, and then this hip, and then there's like some dirt jumps over here. And I just saw the potential. It was probably stacked full of dirt and trash like this high. You could the water barely went through the tunnel. So that took like a year to even get all the dirt out of here slowly as we just like rode this section. Yeah, and we've just been picking at it. It's been wet for a few months, so we've been froggy to get back at it, and now that it's dry, we've been out here a few days a week, building all sorts of shit. All right, that's our slump, our consistency we got going on. Sometimes you do a little something like that, and you can see that it smooths out. That's good. We're gonna do it a little bit wetter than normal, just a tad, because we're just gonna hit it with the wood in this shovel, so it's a little bit easier when it's a little wetter to work with. But the wetter, the less stronger it is.
Ideally, you want to make it as dry as possible and then just work it to get it smooth. But being that we don't have any tools besides a shovel, just making it a little wetter. I started doing concrete down here, and then coincidentally my brother actually runs a concrete company in Minnesota, so I've gone up there and worked with him a lot. That's been super helpful. Just little techniques here and there, because down here we're kind of just figuring it out as we go.
All right, so with the wood, this is what you use to shape it and get the cream to come to the top. So basically I'm just gonna go over it a bunch with the wood, get our shape, slap it up a little bit, and that'll get the cream to come up and the rocks to go down. This is a step that I did not do for that one, so that's why it's all chunky. So you can just keep shaping with the wood, and then you can go back and forth, or you can just pat it down like this. And you can see how this is creamier right here than like this rockier stuff. And that's just the water coming up. You just do this. And that starts to go away and the water comes up to the top.
We're not perfectionists here, so like if you look at this part, like you can see pretty wet right there. And that's just from working it, going back and forth. So you try to give it a little tilt so you're not scraping it out too bad. And then you saw me earlier kind of just looking at it from down here to make sure that we don't have any like bellies in it where it's going to actually be like an anti-transition. If we were to have anything like that, we just go up like this and try to scrape it off. You just take off a little bit at a time. A patience game.
Yep.
Working it until
and then you don't want to hit it with the metal yet. You want to hit it for a bit, and you want it to kind of look like how it is right here, everywhere. Whether, I don't know if we'll actually do that, but that's the goal. What we're doing here is we're trying to mimic the trowel, but you can kind of just do some shit like on dirt jumps, but just going back and forth, just getting a bunch of passes on it. Just kind of hitting the edges like that to get that stuff compressed.
So we're pretty much just working it to try to get the cream to fill in all those holes. So like, or you kind of hit it like that.
I would just I would just do runs like that. So this is like what you do building dirt jumps if you're like facing up the lip. It's just the same concept, if you're doing that, then this is the same as this. You could ride this in a day, like realistically, but it'd be better if you gave it 2 days, depending on what kind of sunlight it gets and temperature and stuff like that. All right, it's about as good as we're gonna get with the shovel. Ideally, we'd want it all to look like that, but we're just trying it. It doesn't need to be perfect. If you got a trowel, it'd be way easier. But we're kind of giving you a little easy, do-it-yourself setup,
That was a sketchy one.
Long Beach specifically has like 12 skate parks, and none of them are good, in my opinion, at least for bikes. They're not really designed with bikes in mind. I think what's cool about this place is it's just the way we want it. It's not perfect, but if we want something, we can just build it. I didn't know anything in the beginning, and now I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of how to do this stuff. So yeah, you just have to start somewhere, whether it's like pallets or just get a bag of concrete, mess it up, like redo it, fix it, do something else. You just have to do it.
All right, so this is what we're walking away with. It's looking pretty chill. I'm sure some of this little stuff will break off, but super good for a bike. We'll test it out in a couple days. Yeah, that's an easy way to pour some crete, make a bank better. Maybe there's a ledge on top of something that you need a little something to get up onto, you know, just quick mods, easy to do, super cheap. That was $8 in concrete, a shovel, and a 2x4.